Hi, welcome back to the channel where we're going to be talking about groceries, what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy when you're trying to prepare. The whole buy one for now, two for later method. I'm going to break that down for you guys so you guys can see. My store currently right now is having a case lot sale. I don't know how many of you guys have ever had a case lot sale at your guys' grocery store, but ours comes in sporadic. I think it's about every 5 months we'll get a case lot sale, and that's when I like to replenish a lot of our stock. So let's break this down so I can show you guys. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. More than 50% of my viewers are not subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's talk about some really cool deals that I found and how I'm going to preserve them long term so we can have these later on. Because these prices are going to keep going up. You got a stock market crash right now on top of everything else that's happening. You're going to have inflation. You're going to have tariffs coming in. So now is the time. So if you're not prepping, this is your forewarning that things are about to get a lot more expensive. All right, so one of the things I like to talk about is buy one for now, two for later. When you find a deal, buy that deal because grocery prices are going up like crazy. So today I got meat, a lot of meat. I never really buy chicken because it is so expensive lately, but I have teenagers in my home and they have an incessive love of SpaghettiOs. So of course they were on sale. So I bought one for now, two for later, maybe 8 for later. You know, we just don't judge it, okay? But some of the items that I picked up were things that my family eats. So we have our noodles in here. Once again, they were 99 cents a box, which is rare to come by, but it was a case lot sale. So when you have, 99 cents, I'm going to pick up 5 of them, okay? That's how you're going to build your stockpile as fast as possible. But all these things that you see out here were a fraction of the price. I have 4 pounds of pinto beans right next to me that I need to mylar up, and I got those on clearance for 99 cents, which never happens. So of course, if you find something that is shelf stable, you're going to want to pick it up and then stock it up or at least preserve it in a way that it's going to last a very long time. Hamburger Helper, it's a family favorite. I grew up on this and I don't care about the ingredients. I know somebody's gonna leave a comment down below talking about the ingredients. I don't care. I don't go into your house. I do not go through your kitchen or your pantry and judge what you eat or judge how much you work out. So please don't do the same to me. Anyways, we have 6 containers of meat. We are going to package these up with the food saver so they don't get a lot of frostbite on them, and we're going to put them out in the freezer, and I'm going to show you kind of how much meat I have on hand because this is the way I buy. I either buy from the local farms or I will buy meat on sale and preserve it so that it doesn't go bad. So let's get to this because I need to package this meat up really quick. All right, now that we got our food saver out, we are gonna cut our bags to fit the meat that's inside of this, but I wanted to go over what I got, all right? So we've got $2.31 for chicken legs. 14 of them, steel. Also $2.72, it's a $5 pack of legs. We're gonna package those up. Grabbed another thing of legs, so 6 packages. We got a lot of chicken legs to package up. And then I picked up some chicken thighs, some chicken breasts. The chicken breast was the most expensive that I picked up. It was $6, but it was 3 huge. And then another set of thighs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to package these up as if my family is going to eat them, or if I can pull out 2 packages out of my freezer to defrost to feed my entire family. So while I'm packing up all these chicken legs, I wanted to talk to you guys about what one of the gals at the grocery store had talked to me about. So a lot of grocery stores are installing security devices on their grocery carts. I don't know if anybody else has witnessed this, but they're putting them on the wheels, and it essentially is where you take your cart into the grocery store, and as you go around, you pick out your groceries. For you to leave the store or leave near the front, you have to go through the checkout stands or the wheels will lock, which at first I was like gonna go grab an extra cart, and one of the gals there that I'm really good friends with was like, oh no, you gotta make sure that you walk your cart back through the checkout lane or it's gonna lock up on you. And I was like, well, what's happened for them to do this? And she goes, oh, people are stealing food. We have now officially hit into a time where people are now stealing food because obviously the cost of food is getting astronomical and people just can't afford to live the lifestyles that they've been living. And my heart breaks for them, but that's one of the main reasons we prep, correct? We prep so that if inflation does happen, that we are safe and sound in that. And it may be a struggle, we'll still be struggling, but we are taking the extra precautions to make sure that we will succeed. So this mom asked her 9-year-old to push the cart, and as they loaded up the cart, she loaded it up with all this food, and then the mom instructed the little girl to go walk straight out the front door, essentially making her child steal. And they did this, and it didn't just happen once, it happened like 9 times in a week. So people are starting to really feel this crisis, this food crisis, the cost of living, the spikes in it. And it's a big wake-up call for many because many do not understand the prices are going to continue to go up. So if you're not prepping now, you are way behind on the game, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's going to cost a little bit more to do it. And you're going to want to do it because if these prices continue to go up, it's going to be almost impossible for anyone to be able to afford food. So this first one I packaged out, it has 9 legs in it. And now I'm just going to package out the last 5. All right, fast forward to the next day. I did not have enough time to package up all this meat, so I put it in the fridge overnight. But let's talk about the reasoning of why you have to manage your time wisely. When it comes to prepping, it is a full-time job. It is. You're always thinking about what's the next thing you can preserve. We already are watching everyone's 401ks are dwindling right now, and it's really sad. The stock market is an absolute dumpster fire. And people are panicking. And with these tariffs that they released, it might be an end to cheap prepping, but it doesn't mean that you have to stop prepping. It just means you got to be a little bit wiser about it. So there was 6 packages of meat here. And in these 6 packages of meat, I spent $22. That is a lot of chicken. That is a lot of chicken. This alone right here is about 2 pounds of chicken breast. And I only paid, these are chicken thighs. I only paid $3.50. So I once again shopped food we eat. I shop when things are on sale. I stock up then, and then I have a way to preserve it to last longer so that I don't have to go back to the grocery store if those prices raise again. So because this is really cheap, I'm going to package this up into serving sizes for my family and put it into the freezer. But we need to talk about some of those other items you guys need to be thinking about as we start seeing a shift in the market. We need to think about the cost of living. People are less likely to want to prep when the cost of living is so expensive. And people get in this pre-notion that prepping is so expensive, but realistically, if you're doing it correctly, yes, of course, there's going to be gear that costs a lot more. I'm going to do packages of 2 on these thighs. But if you get into the emotion of this is part of your everyday life and you really dedicate yourself to it, you'll find different items that are a lot cheaper or that go on sale that have a shelf-stable life, and you can be very frugal about it, and you can pick up new items to bring into your storage, and then you can use that storage anytime you want. Once again, it's like a self-insurance plan, but at this point, we're gonna need it as just an average way to live. Everything has just been so easygoing for the last decade, and I know there's somebody gonna argue with me. Y'all been paying way too much on delivery fees and way too much on electronic subscriptions. I will stand on my soapbox and say, life has been actually pretty easy, even though things have gotten expensive. And then when it starts to get too expensive, that's when it starts to hurt. But with these tariffs and with everything that's going on in the economy, Everybody is gonna start to really feel the sting of this. We have become way too dependent on a system that now everything hurts. Everything hurts. I'm packaging these up as like 3s, even though there's 5 people in my family, but these are very large. And I'm probably, when I unthaw them, gonna just split them in half to cook everything. You can be very frugal with the way that you spend money, what you spend it on, how you're going to eat, what you want to eat. There's a lot of options in it, and you can cater the way you're prepping around the way you eat. Now let's talk about some of my predictions for the next month. Everybody loves a good prediction. I've done it on TikTok for years, and not many people realize that I kind of hit all of them. I've hit a lot of my predictions, and I think that's because when you have your eyes open, you can really see what's going on in the current world situation. Most people get strung up on politics, or I want it this way, it's not going my way. Once again, we are a very selfish, self-indulgent system, and we are our own worst enemies. So last year I predicted somewhere would have martial law. South Korea had martial law, and I did an interview on that. I can link the interview down below. But with these tariffs and with these price increases, and just even the lady at the grocery store talking about people are encouraging their children to steal full carts of food. We're only a split second away from civil unrest. I know that seems very extreme to say that out loud, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying it, but I don't care, because the writing is on the walls right now. Ooh, I don't know if I can fit it in like that. The writing is on the walls, and I am over here trying to fit as many chicken legs into this bag. The reason I'm going to preserve this the way I am doing it, I think that's enough space. There's 5 in there. Because if the price of chicken goes up again, which is a possibility, we had the egg crisis. Everyone's panicking over the eggs. Now the egg prices are leveling out a little bit more. But with the avian flu, if chicken prices go back up again, I want to make sure I have chicken set aside that I can use anytime I want to, and I don't have to rely on a supply chain to see if I can afford what they have priced out. And it's kind of just taking myself away from the system, and it works for a while. It really does balance my grocery costs and our prices. And I really do enjoy, I don't enjoy it per se. It is a lot of work, and I think the tedious work, most people will say, yeah, I'm gonna buy an extra one of that, and then they leave in their fridge and it goes bad, but it's the packaging it out, me slicing up all the bags, making sure they're all ready, and then using the food saver, sucking out all the air, and then bringing them out to the garage so you guys can see. But you guys do have a choice if you choose to buy the cells. If you choose to buy the cells and you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in advancing your prepping game, oh, that one I should, what have I done here? I need to organize this just a little bit better. I think I can fit a little bit more chicken in this bag than before. This one will probably be for a barbecue, because if I can fit the legs in nice, tightly compacted, I don't really have to worry about it. It's kind of like playing a game of Jenga. I'm gonna just try to fit as much chicken in as possible so that when I use the food saver and it doesn't get frostburn or frostbite, I believe it's called frostbite. But with these tariffs coming up, everybody is gonna feel it. The game of cheap prepping is going to change. So now is the time, and I'm so tired of the redundant saying of, now is the time, start prepping now, start prepping now. No, if you want to pick up those last like cheap items to have stored away, you got to do it today. Like, there's no excuses anymore. Dollar Tree is no longer the Dollar Tree. It used to be the $1.25 cherry, and that's going straight up. Prices are going to continue to go up. You have tariffs, and I do understand the mindset of, okay, this will be better for our economy for a moment, but it's going to hurt the whole way to that moment. And everyone is panicking, especially about the stock market. To be realistic, 8% of the population owns stocks. Most people only own in the 401k for their retirement, and people are panicking. They are panicking. And unfortunately, it sucks. There's nothing I can say about that. That's one of the reasons why I personally don't believe in invisible money. I know that I don't want to do like a lecturing thing here, but the stock market makes me uneasy since I learned about it when I was really young, and it's just something I don't choose to invest in. My husband, however, has chosen to invest, and I'm going to tell you, it hurts. I mean, we've lost $50,000 with the crash. Easily. That's what his investments are. Mine, I invest in different ways than the average person because I like things that are a little bit more tangible, and it's a little scary. It's a very unsettling of where our country is at. And many may be upset with the way that I put this of, it's that invisible money. And the number one thing that I've talked about for years, I don't like digital currency. I don't like digital currencies. People said that I got reported over and over, people talking about, you talk about the stock markets and blah, 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 but you just don't know what you're talking about. And I'd be like, well, if the stock market crashes, the banks could potentially crash because most of the banks only have a physical set amount of money on them. Most banks, I believe, they only have about, $500,000 in cash on them. And everything's moving to digital, and they want everything to be deposited digital, and you don't have a physical hand on it. What happens if the banks collapse? It's been about 100 years since they did. And they put in a bunch of insurance policies to make sure it doesn't happen again. But what happens when all those government agencies, they collapse? I don't think a lot of people have thought about that. They haven't thought about what happens if the grid was to go down and your banks no longer worked. I mean, in the comment section, how many of you guys have most of your money in a bank? I would hope most of you guys say no. I would hope that you guys have stuff pulled aside, because that is petrifying to think about. All of a sudden, your digital currency no longer exists. That little tap of the card, it's no longer there. And it's a possibility. Nothing is impossible with what we've seen going on currently in the world. Nothing is impossible. Let me know down in the comments of what you guys are working on your preps. Do you guys shop the cells? If you guys shop cells, please let me know. Currently, my grocery store, it has a case lot sale going on. I'm about to go back there just to restock up on peanut butter and stuff that we do use around our home that I don't really prep on. I know my daughter has a peanut allergy, so I'm pretty cautious on how much peanut butter I bring into my house. But hitting those case lot sales, I'm saving so much money by buying in bulk, essentially. All right, now that I've finished vacuum sealing all of these bags up, we're gonna go take these out to the freezer. I don't think you guys have seen my freezer setup. I did not include it in my pantry tour. And I'm a little nervous to see what your guys' reaction of my freezer is. But this is how I do stockpile. So not only do we buy a whole cow or a half a cow about every 6 months to stock up our meat, but I do buy the cells. I do package them up myself because these are gonna preserve a lot better than throwing something like this into the freezer. This, I'm actually gonna cook some of this tonight, so I'm not gonna package that one up. But I got 6 flats of meat. There's even more in the other fridge that I finished last night that was at the beginning of this video. But let's go see the freezer. Maybe you guys will like it, maybe you guys won't. Let me know in the comments if you do. All right, we're here in the garage where I have not only one freezer, 2 freezers, 3 freezer setups. I have 3 freezer setups, and let's open this guy up. I'm a little nervous. I don't really show this very often. All right. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna get in the frame really well, but starting off strong, this is the pig that we bought from a local farmer, went through the butcher. There's not much left of it in the doors. We have ground beef on this shelf. It's all ground beef. Oh no, part of the shelf is flying off and now I got bricks flying towards my head. And then the next aisle is all steaks, and then roasts, and then briskets, and more steaks, and soup bones, and the fat, so I can make tallow. This is the freezer. And now I'm gonna play a game of Jenga because I do know I have room up on the top shelf. There's also a turkey. Now I just gotta start arranging some of this chicken up in the top so it's easy access. All the bags are labeled, so I know which ones I'm pulling from first. And that right there is the reason why you buy local, you preserve. You try to have as much meat on hand as you possibly can, because our family has not been affected by these price increases. We just continue to do the way we've been doing for years, even though it's not the most convenient way. It does take time, it does take effort. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.